Welcome to our channel. Have you ever felt tired of the noise of modern life? The car horns, the endless work calls, the pressure to please everyone around you. We often get caught up in a whirlwind of endless worries, invisible fears, and sometimes even indescribable disappointments. So how can we find peace and stillness within ourselves amidst such a chaotic world? Perhaps, like me, you've often wondered, why do we worry so much about things beyond our control? Why do we care so much about others' opinions, past events, or things that haven't happened yet? These are not just personal questions, but questions humanity has asked for thousands of years. And that's when Stoicism came into existence, bringing profound and useful answers. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone around you, maybe a colleague, friend, or even a stranger, who seems unaffected by the stress around them? They possess a calmness, confidence, and inner peace that seem unshakable. Have you ever wondered, what is their secret? Have they learned something that we don't know? Have they found an art that helps them navigate life's difficulties more lightly? Today, we will explore a philosophy that can help you achieve that. Stoicism. Stoicism is not just about renunciation or living austerely. It's more than that. It's an art of living, an art that helps you no longer be obsessed with things that don't matter, no longer be controlled by things you can't control. It helps you focus on what truly matters and find inner peace and freedom that nothing can take away. In this video, we will go through 15 lessons from Stoicism, lessons that have helped millions of people worldwide, from ancient times to modern days, find true peace and happiness. These lessons will help you take control of your life, avoid useless worries, and find true freedom. Would you like to learn how to stop caring about unimportant things and focus on what really matters? So, are you ready to explore the secrets of Stoicism with me? Make sure you stay until the end of the video, as we will not only discuss theories, but also provide specific examples, real-life stories, and practical exercises to help you apply these lessons to your life right away. These are not just lessons to know, but to live, experience, and change. Get ready, because we will start with the first lesson, a lesson that will change the way you see life forever. Focus on what you can control. This is the first key to opening the door to peace and inner freedom. Let's explore together. Lesson 1. Focus on what you can control. This first lesson can be seen as the foundation of Stoic philosophy. Focus on what you can control. Sounds simple, right? But think about it. How many times a day do we feel stressed or anxious about things we actually have no control over? Stoicism teaches that much of human suffering comes from trying to control things beyond our ability. These could be other people's thoughts and actions, random events, or even the past. This is where we often go wrong. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, emotions, and action. Because the only thing we truly have mastery over in this life is how we respond to what happens. Think about it. You can't control whether it will rain or shine one day, but you can control whether you bring an umbrella. You can't control what others say about you, but you can control how you react to their words. More importantly, you can control your own emotions and thoughts. Let's go back to ancient Rome, where there was an emperor who was not only famous for his leadership skills, but also a great Stoic philosopher, Marcus Aurelius. During his reign, he faced numerous challenges: prolonged wars, outbreaks of plague, even betrayal from close confidants. But rather than letting these uncontrollable factors disturb his peace, Marcus Aurelius always adhered to his principle. Focus on what he could control. He wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So how can we apply this lesson to our daily lives? Think about such situations where you feel anxious or stressed. Are most of the things that worry you beyond your control? For example, you worry about the outcome of an exam, but you can't control that outcome. The only thing you can do is prepare as best as you can, focusing on studying and practice. Or you're worried about how others will perceive you. You can't control their thoughts, but you can control how you treat others, how you work, and how you live your life. Another example is when you face unexpected situations at work. A project is delayed, a customer is dissatisfied, even a difficult colleague. You can't control the customer's or colleague's attitude, but you can control how you respond to them. You can choose to stay calm, listen, and find ways to resolve the issue instead of getting angry or frustrated. When you focus on what you can control, you not only reduce stress and anxiety, but also become more patient and clear-headed. You'll start to realize that most of the things that worry you are not that important. You'll become more confident knowing that, no matter what happens, you can always control how you react to it. Moreover, focusing on what you can control helps you build a positive mindset and a strong spirit. You will learn to accept what cannot be changed and focus on doing the best you can in the current situation. This not only helps you become more successful, but also helps you live a happier and more meaningful life. Now I have a small exercise for you. Try making a list of things you're worried or stressed about in your life. Then, divide them into 2 columns, what you can control and what you cannot. Once you're done, focus entirely on the column of things you can control. As for the other column, try to let them go. You'll be surprised at how much lighter your mind feels. So, the first lesson from Stoic philosophy helps us better understand the art of not caring. It's not about indifference or neglecting everything, but about focusing on what's truly important and changeable. Start today, focus on what you can control, and let go of what you cannot. You'll find your life becomes lighter, more meaningful, and happier. Stay tuned for the next lesson, accepting that life is imperfect. This lesson will help us better understand acceptance and gratitude in daily life. Lesson 2. Accepting that life is imperfect. After learning about focusing on what we can control, we now move to the second lesson, accepting that life is imperfect. This might sound familiar to most of us, but truly understanding and embracing it is something not everyone can achieve. Today, let's delve deeper into the meaning of this lesson. Stoicism emphasizes accepting reality as it is. We often strive for perfection, an ideal job, a happy family, a life without mistakes. However, Stoic philosophy reminds us that life is inherently imperfect. Everything has flaws, with both good and unwanted aspects. Accepting life's imperfections doesn't mean giving up on improving ourselves or our surroundings. Instead, it involves understanding that no matter how hard we try, we cannot control everything. Key is to learn to accept what cannot be changed and seek inner peace. Let me share a story about Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher. Epictetus wasn't an emperor or a powerful leader. He was born a slave, lived in poverty, and was cruelly treated by his master. Once, when his leg was broken by his master, he did not scream or get angry. Instead, he calmly said, "My leg is broken." Epictetus did not try to change the unchangeable. He accepted the reality that his life was imperfect, that some things were beyond his control. From there, he focused on what he could do, studying and becoming a great philosopher, inspiring generations to come. Now think about situations in your own life. How often do you feel frustrated because things didn't go as planned? You plan a trip, but the weather doesn't cooperate. You prepare thoroughly for a presentation, but technical issues arise. How do you feel in those moments? Stressed? Disappointed? But remember, we cannot control everything around us. The only thing we can do is accept what has happened and find the best way to solve the problem. Accepting that life is imperfect helps us avoid unnecessary disappointment and worry. It makes us more adaptable, capable of adjusting to changes, and accepting our own flaws and those of others. Interestingly, Stoicism isn't the only philosophy emphasizing acceptance. Buddhism, another popular philosophy, teaches that all suffering comes from attachment, clinging to what we want, cannot have. Find peace, we must learn to let go and accept life's impermanence. This is a fascinating similarity between Stoicism and Buddhism, two philosophies from different cultures that both guide people toward liberation from suffering through acceptance. Let's look at an example from modern life. A woman named Sarah. a successful entrepreneur, didn't have a smooth life. She faced many business failures, broken relationships, and even severe health issues. Instead of drowning in misery, Sarah decided to accept the reality that her life wasn't perfect. She focused on the things she could change, and from there found the strength and inspiration to keep striving. She once said, "I can't change the past, but I can learn from it and use it to make my present better." Try a small exercise. Whenever you feel frustrated or anxious because something didn't go as expected, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this really important? What can I do to change it? If the answer is no, try to accept it as a part of life. Remember, acceptance doesn't mean giving up, finding peace in the present situation. So, we've explored the second lesson from Stoic philosophy, accepting that life is imperfect. This isn't a surrender, but a liberation. When we learn to accept what cannot be changed, we discover a new strength, a new freedom. Freedom from unrealistic expectations, freedom to live a calm and meaningful life. Remember, whenever you feel frustrated or disappointed, remember that it's just a part of life. Accept it, overcome it, and continue moving forward with a peaceful heart. Stay tuned for the next lesson, living mindfully. This lesson will help us better understand the importance of living in the present and finding joy in the simplest things in life. Lesson 3. Living mindfully. Continuing our journey through the lessons of Stoic philosophy, we arrive at the third lesson, living mindfully. This is one of the most crucial lessons, helping us find inner peace and enjoy life to its full. What does it mean to live mindfully? In Stoic philosophy, living mindfully means living fully in the present moment, without being dominated by the past or worried about the future. It requires us to be constantly aware of what is happening around us and within our own mind. Stoicism encourages us not to let our minds be scattered by external distractions, and to learn to focus on what truly matters in the present. Stoicism teaches that much of the stress and anxiety we experience comes from not living in the present. We spend too much time regretting past mistakes or worrying about what has yet to come. But when we live mindfully, we learn to let go of these worries and savor each moment of life. Let's look at an example from the life of Marcus Aurelius. Despite facing countless challenges as the Roman emperor, from prolonged wars and widespread disease to political intrigues, he consistently practiced living mindfully. He didn't let worries about the future or past failures cloud his mind. Instead, he focused on what he could do in the present to resolve issues in the best way possible. In his book Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." This is a reminder of the preciousness of the present moment and the importance of living mindfully. So how can we live mindfully in today's busy world? One of the simplest ways is to practice daily meditation. Just taking 5 to 10 minutes each day to sit quietly and focus on your breath can make a significant difference. Meditation helps us become more aware of our thoughts and emotions, enabling us to manage them better. Another way to live mindfully is to practice mindfulness in every daily activity. This means whatever you are doing, eating, walking, or even working, do it with full attention. Don't let your mind be scattered by thoughts of the past or future. Pay attention to every small detail, the sensation of each step, taste of each bite, the sounds of nature around you. For example, when you eat, instead of thinking about the next thing you have to do, focus on the taste of the food, the sensation of chewing, and the feeling in your body when swallowing. When you walk, notice each step, how the ground feels under your feet, and the sounds of your surroundings. These simple actions help us reconnect with the present and experience life more deeply. The benefits of living mindfully are immense. First, it helps reduce stress and anxiety. When we focus on the present, we no longer have time to worry about what has happened or what might happen. Second, mindfulness improves concentration and productivity. When the mind is not scattered, we can complete tasks more efficiently. Third, Mindfulness helps us experience life more fully and deeply. We begin to see beauty in simple things and find joy in small moments. Additionally, mindfulness helps improve our relationships with others. When we truly listen and pay attention to others, we understand them better and create deeper connections. This is particularly important in a world where distractions and lack of focus are becoming increasingly common. To start practicing mindfulness, I have a few simple exercises for you. First, start your day with a minute of meditation. Just sit quietly, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Inhale, exhale. Feel the air passing through your nose, filling your lungs, and then leaving your body. Just 1 minute, but it will help set a strong foundation for the day. Second, practice mindfulness in daily activities. When you wash your hands, pay attention to the feeling of water on your skin, the smell of soap, the sound of running water. When you eat, savor each bite slowly, paying attention to the taste, texture, and temperature of the food. Third, take time to walk in nature. Don't bring your phone. Don't listen to music, just focus on each step and the sounds of nature around you. This is a great way to reconnect with yourself and the world around you. So, we've explored the third lesson from Stoic philosophy, living mindfully. This is an important lesson that helps us regain inner peace and enjoy life more fully. When we live mindfully, we not only reduce worry and stress, but also learn to appreciate the simple things in life. Remember, life only truly becomes meaningful when we live fully in each moment. Start today, practice mindfulness, and discover true peace and happiness. Stay tuned for the next lesson, seeing things from multiple perspectives. This lesson will help us better understand the importance of looking at issues in a comprehensive and objective manner. Lesson 4. Viewing situations from multiple perspectives. We have explored 3 essential lessons from Stoic philosophy together. Now let's move on to the 4th lesson, viewing situations from multiple perspectives. This practical lesson helps us better understand the importance of examining problems comprehensively and objectively. Viewing situations from multiple perspectives means not just assessing problems from a personal viewpoint or immediate emotions, but also considering them from various angles. Stoic philosophy encourages us to move beyond immediate emotional reactions, avoiding the influence of initial biases or judgments. Instead, we should broaden our minds, think critically, and strive to understand situations from different viewpoints. Stoicism suggests that when we are stuck in a narrow perspective, we can easily fall into the traps of unnecessary anger, frustration, or anxiety. However, if we learn to view problems from multiple perspectives, we become more insightful and capable of making more rational decisions. Let's look at an example from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. In a discussion with his students, he posed a very simple question. If someone insults you, do you feel angry? A student replied that he would feel very angry. Epictetus smiled and said, "Then why do you allow yourself to be offended? Why not consider that the person may have their own problems, or simply does not understand you? Try to view the situation from their perspective." This story illustrates an important lesson. Instead of reacting emotionally, try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. You might realize that, rather than intending to insult, the other person is merely expressing their own disappointment or fear. Viewing things from multiple perspectives not only helps you maintain calmness, but also helps you understand others better, allowing for more appropriate responses. Think about situations in your daily life. Have you ever felt stuck in a situation, unsure of what to do? Maybe a conflict with a colleague, a disagreement with a loved one, or even a work-related issue. In such times, we often view problems solely from our perspective, driven by our emotions. But try pausing for a moment and looking at the issue from another angle. Ask yourself, what led to this situation? What might the other person be thinking? What can I do to improve the situation? When you look at a problem from multiple perspectives, you will discover aspects you had not considered before. This not only helps you make smarter decisions, but also improves your relationships with others. You'll learn to understand, empathize, and treat others more fairly. The benefits of viewing situations from multiple perspectives are undeniable. First, it helps us avoid negative reactions and impulsive emotions. When you no longer see things from a fixed viewpoint, you become more objective and less influenced by immediate emotion. Second, it improves problem-solving skills. You'll realize that a problem often has multiple solutions, and sometimes the best solution lies in viewing it from a different angle. Additionally, considering multiple perspectives helps us build better relationships with those around us. When you understand and put yourself in someone else's position, you will find it easier to empathize and support them. This not only fosters harmony, but also builds trust and mutual respect. Now, I want to share a small practical exercise to develop this skill. Think about a recent situation where you felt stressed or uncomfortable. It could be a debate with a colleague, a disagreement with a family member, or an unexpected incident. Write down that situation and then list at least 3 different perspectives you could consider. This might include your own viewpoint, the other person's viewpoint, and a neutral third-party perspective. After completing this, ask yourself, have I evaluated the situation comprehensively? Is there another way to resolve this issue? By practicing this exercise regularly, you will gradually develop the ability to view situations from multiple perspectives, becoming calmer and more rational in all situations. So we have explored the 4th lesson from Stoic philosophy. Viewing situations from multiple perspectives. This is not just an important life skill, but also an art that helps us live smarter and more peacefully. Remember, life is not always simple and straightforward. But when we learn to view problems from various angles, we will find wiser solutions, thereby leading a more fulfilling life. Stay tuned for the next lesson, letting go of demands. This lesson will help us understand the importance of letting go of unrealistic expectations and focusing on what truly matters. Lesson 5. Letting go of demands. After learning how to view situations from multiple perspectives, we move on to the 5th lesson from Stoic philosophy, letting go of demand. This principle helps us learn to let go of unrealistic expectation and focus on accepting what comes to us in the most natural way. Stoic philosophy teaches that much of our suffering comes from demanding that life must go the way we want, demanding that others behave as we think they should, and demanding that everything be perfect. However, life doesn't always go as we expect. Everything changes, and sometimes not in the way we want. Stoic philosophy reminds us that instead of resisting and demanding, we should learn to accept what comes our way. Letting go of demands doesn't mean we give up striving or having dreams. It simply means we don't tie our happiness to specific outcomes we wish to achieve. We still strive, but we aren't bound by the expectation of achieving a certain result. We learn to enjoy the journey without being pressured by the destination. Consider the example from the life of Seneca, one of the famous Stoic philosophers. Seneca was wealthy and powerful, but he experienced periods of exile and loss. During the hardest times, he did not demand that life treat him better. Instead, he accepted reality and sought to live as well as he could in his circumstances. He once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare, they are difficult." He understood that demands only lead to suffering, and the only way to find peace is to let go of demands and accept reality. So how can we apply this lesson in our daily lives? Think about situations when you feel frustrated or disappointed. It could be when you didn't get a promotion as expected, when your plans were canceled, or when someone didn't treat you as you hoped. During these times, we often feel pain because we demand everything to go our way. But is that really necessary? When we let go of demands, we learn to accept reality with all it brings, both good and bad. We no longer obsess over what we don't have. Instead, we focus on what we do have. This helps us feel more content and less stressed. Letting go of demands has several significant benefits. First, it helps us reduce stress and anxiety. When we are no longer obsessed with what we can't control, we live more lightly. Second, it helps us find peace of mind. When we accept that life isn't always perfect and that we can't have everything we want, we feel more comfortable with what we have. Third, letting go of demands improves our relationships with others. When we no longer demand too much from them, we become more tolerant and forgiving. Moreover, letting go of demands helps us appreciate what we have more. Instead of always wanting more and better, we learn to be grateful and appreciate the simple joys that life brings. I have a small exercise for you to practice letting go of demands. Every day, when you encounter an unexpected situation, pause for a moment and ask yourself, do I really need this to be happy? Can I still live happily without it? Try letting go of unnecessary demands and focus on what truly matters. You will realize that many things we think are necessary are not, and when we let them go, we feel much lighter and more comfortable. For example, if you didn't get a promotion as expected, instead of demanding and getting frustrated, try looking at it from a different angle. You still have a job, you still have good colleagues. Focus on the positives and find ways to improve yourself further. By doing this, you not only live happier, also become more patient and wise. So we have explored the fifth lesson from Stoic philosophy, letting go of demand. This is an important lesson that helps us learn to accept what cannot be changed and find peace within. Remember, happiness does not lie in what we have, but in how we perceive and deal with life. Stay tuned for the next lesson, Accepting Change. This lesson will help us better understand the importance of adapting to change and developing ourselves sustainably. Lesson 6, Embracing Change. As we continue exploring the lessons from Stoic philosophy, come to the sixth lesson, Embracing Change. In life, change is inevitable, but rather than fearing or resisting it, Stoic philosophy encourages us to learn to accept and adapt to change. Stoicism teaches that everything in life is subject to change, from significant events like the rise and fall of empires and advancements in technology, and minor things like daily weather changes or someone's mood. Life is in constant flux, and it is this change that helps us grow and mature. However, most of us are afraid of change. We worry when a job ends, when a relationship breaks down, or when we face new challenges. The truth is, resisting change only increases fear and suffering. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that instead of resisting change, we should accept it as a natural part of life and find ways to adapt and grow from it. Consider the life of Zeno, founder of Stoicism. Zeno didn't start his life as a philosopher. In fact, he was a successful merchant trading goods across the seas. But one day, his ship sank, and all his possessions were lost to the sea. For many, this could be a catastrophe. But Zeno accepted this change. Instead of wallowing in misery, he decided to learn and grow from the experience. He moved to Athens and began studying philosophy, eventually becoming a great philosopher and founding the Stoic school of thought. Zeno wrote, "I found a better life after losing everything." This clearly illustrates that change, however painful or unexpected, can bring new opportunities and help us grow. How can we apply this lesson in our daily lives? When faced with change, try shifting your perspective. Instead of viewing it as a challenge, see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. If you lose your job, think of it as a chance to find a more suitable position or to explore untapped potential. If a relationship ends, see it as an opportunity to find independence and gain a deeper understanding of yourself. We can also train our minds to be ready for change by frequently challenging ourselves with new experiences. This could be as simple as trying a new dish, learning a new skill, or even visiting a place you've never been to before. By regularly putting ourselves in new situations, we become more adaptable and less affected by unexpected changes. Embracing change brings unexpected benefit. Firstly, it helps us reduce stress and anxiety. When we no longer resist the inevitable, we feel more relaxed and at ease. Secondly, accepting change makes us more adaptable and resilient. When we are open to new things, we become stronger and more capable of facing life's challenges. Finally, embracing change opens up new opportunities. When we are not afraid of change, we can easily spot opportunities we couldn't see before. This not only helps us grow personally, but also helps us build a richer and more diverse life. To practice embracing change, try a small exercise. Think about a recent change in your life. It could be a major change like a job switch, or a minor one like a change in daily routine. Write down your feelings about this change. Do you feel anxious, fearful, or confused? Then, try writing down the positives that you could learn or gain from this change. By viewing change from a positive perspective, you'll realize that not all changes are bad, and sometimes they bring us better things. For example, if you recently changed jobs, consider the new skills you could learn, the new people you could meet, or even the opportunity to advance your career in a new direction. By practicing viewing change from a positive angle, you become stronger and more prepared for future changes. So, we have explored the 6th lesson from Stoic philosophy, embracing change. This is an important lesson that helps us learn to face life's changes calmly and wisely. Remember, change isn't always scary. Sometimes it brings us great opportunities to grow and mature. Stay tuned for the next lesson, evaluating fairly. This lesson will help us better understand the importance of fairness and compassion in how we treat others and ourselves. Lesson 7. Evaluating fairly. As we continue our journey of learning from Stoic philosophy, we arrive at the 7th lesson, evaluating fairly. This principle is crucial not only for building better relationships with others, but also for self-improvement every day. Stoic philosophy encourages us to evaluate others fairly, without being influenced by biases or personal emotion. This means that when we make judgments or evaluations, we should base them on accurate facts and information, rather than on fleeting emotions or subjective prejudices. This philosophy applies not only to evaluating others, but is also vital when we assess ourselves. Stoicism teaches that we must view ourselves objectively and honestly, accepting both our strengths and weaknesses. When we clearly understand ourselves and others, we become more fair, compassionate, and less swayed by negative emotion. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Roman emperors and a Stoic philosopher, always practiced fair evaluation. He understood that to be a good leader, he needed to listen and evaluate opinions from all sides without being swayed by flattery or unjust criticism. In his book Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Before judging others, ask yourself, have I perfected myself? Have I never made mistakes?" This quote reminds us that no one is perfect, and we must learn to evaluate people and things fairly, with kindness and empathy. In daily life, we often easily judge others based on immediate emotions or personal biases. We may criticize a colleague for a minor mistake without realizing that we have made similar mistakes ourselves. Or we may quickly judge a stranger based on appearance without understanding their background. Evaluating fairly requires us to slow down, think carefully, and view people with empathy. Try putting yourself in their shoes and ask, if I were in that situation, what would I do? When we can view others fairly, we reduce unnecessary conflicts and build deeper relationships. Evaluating fairly brings many benefits. First, it helps us become more objective in making decisions. When we are not swayed by emotions or biases, we make wiser decisions. Second, it improves our relationships with others. When people feel they are treated fairly and respectfully, they will trust and be more open with us. Additionally, evaluating fairly helps us improve ourselves. When we clearly recognize our strengths and weaknesses, we know how to leverage our strengths and address our weaknesses. This not only helps us become better, but also helps us achieve greater goals in life. To practice fair evaluation, try a small exercise. Think of a recent situation where you felt annoyed or frustrated with someone. Instead of immediately judging, pause and ask yourself, why did they act that way? Could there be another reason that I'm not aware of? If I were in their shoes, what would I do? By practicing this mindset, you will gradually learn to evaluate people and situations more objectively, thereby building empathy and compassion for others. So, we have explored the 7th lesson from Stoic philosophy, Evaluating fairly. This is an important lesson that helps us develop an objective mindset and a heart full of compassion. Remember, no one is perfect, and we are all on a journey of learning and growth. Treat others with kindness and fairness, and you will find your life becomes happier and more meaningful. Stay tuned for the next lesson, forgiving others. This lesson will help us better understand the importance of forgiveness and how it helps us free ourselves from resentment and suffering. Lesson 8, Forgiving Others. After learning about evaluating fairly, we continue with the 8th lesson, Forgiving Others. This is one of the most profound and necessary lessons from Stoic philosophy, helping us free ourselves from resentment and suffering, bringing peace to our souls. Stoic philosophy teaches that resentment and hatred only cause us more suffering. Forgiveness does not mean accepting or condoning someone else's wrongdoing. It means choosing not to let those actions continue to hurt us. Forgiveness is an act of liberation, freeing ourselves from the pain and burden of negative emotion. Stoicism encourages us to recognize that everyone makes mistakes and no one is perfect. When we forgive others, we accept this reality and refuse to let others' mistakes affect our peace of mind. Consider an example from the life of Seneca, famous Stoic philosopher. Seneca was an advisor to Emperor Nero, one of the most tyrannical and cruel emperors of Rome. Despite knowing that Nero was far from a perfect ruler, Seneca chose to forgive Nero's actions and tried to guide him on the right path. Seneca understood that resentment would not change Nero, but only forgiveness and guidance from the heart could bring about change. Seneca wrote, "Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but an expression of spiritual strength. Only the strong can forgive, for they do not let others' actions affect themselves." How can we apply this lesson to our daily lives? Think about people who have hurt you. Perhaps it's a friend who betrayed your trust, a colleague who wronged you, or even a family member who caused you pain. In such situations, we often harbor resentment and hatred, but this only makes us feel heavier and more painful. Instead, consider the benefits of forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting what happened. It means deciding not to let those actions continue to hurt you. When you forgive, you free yourself from the prison of negative emotion and open yourself up to the opportunity to move forward with a lighter and more peaceful heart. Forgiving others brings many great benefits. First, it helps free our minds from negative thoughts and stress. When we no longer hold on to resentment, our souls become lighter and freer. Second, forgiveness helps improve relationships with others. When we can forgive, we easily rebuild damaged relationships or even create new relationships full of trust and understanding. Finally, forgiveness helps us improve ourselves. When we can forgive others, we also learn to forgive ourselves. We recognize that no one is perfect and that anyone can make mistakes. This helps us become more tolerant of ourselves and others. To practice forgiveness, try a small exercise. Write down the name of someone who hurt you and the feelings you have about them. Then, write down at least 3 things you can learn from that situation. Finally, write a letter to that person, not to send it, but to express your feelings and release those negative emotions. This exercise not only helps you express your feelings, but also helps you see the issue from a different perspective. You will realize that others may not always intend to hurt you, and sometimes we also need to forgive ourselves for holding on to too much resentment. We have explored the 8th lesson from Stoic philosophy, forgiving others. This is not just an act of kindness toward others, but also the greatest gift we can give ourselves. Remember, forgiveness is not about condoning wrongdoing, but choosing not to let it continue to affect our lives. Stay tuned for the next lesson, Laugh More. This lesson will help us better understand the importance of optimism and joy in life, and how it helps us live a fuller and happier life. Lesson 9, Laugh More. We have explored deep lessons from Stoic philosophy on managing emotions and cultivating a positive mindset. Today, let's delve into a simple yet profoundly important lesson. Laugh more. In Stoic philosophy, Laughter is not just an expression of joy, but also a powerful tool to help us maintain peace and optimism in life. Stoicism teaches us not only to face difficulties with calm and emotional control, but also emphasizes the importance of maintaining optimism and joy. Laughing more is part of this optimism. When we laugh, we not only show happiness, but also help our body and mind relax, releasing tension and stress. Stoicism does not mean living a life of constant seriousness and austerity. Instead, it teaches us to find joy even in the most challenging situations, to laugh in the face of adversity, and to use laughter as a balm for the soul. Epictetus, one of the prominent Stoic philosophers, once said, "The only thing we can control is our reaction to what happened." On one occasion, while he was teaching, one of his students burst out laughing at something trivial. Instead of reprimanding the student, Epictetus laughed along and said, "Life is serious enough, let's keep our souls light." This story shows that even a philosopher like Epictetus understood the value of laughter. He did not see laughter as trivial, but as part of mindful living and accepting everything with a light heart. Laughter helps us face life positively and prevents us from being drawn into negativity. In modern life, we often get caught up in daily worries and pressures, from work and family to social responsibilities. But did you know that just a small smile can completely change your mood? When you laugh, your body produces chemicals like endorphin, which help reduce stress and create a sense of happiness and comfort. Think about situations in your daily life where you could add a bit of laughter. When you face difficulties at work, try to think of something funny. When you're stressed by family conflicts, recall a joyful memory. You'll find that a small shift in perspective can make life much more bearable. Laughing more not only brings joy but also offers several other benefits. Firstly, it helps reduce stress and pressure. Laughter helps release happiness hormones, reducing the level of cortisol, the stress hormone, in the body. Secondly, laughing more improves cardiovascular health. Research has shown that laughter can help dilate blood vessels, enhance blood circulation, and reduce the risk of heart disease. Finally, laughter serves as a bridge in relationships. When we laugh together, we create happy memories, strengthen bonds, and build trust. This not only improves our relationships with others, but also makes us feel more positive about life. To practice this lesson, try a small exercise. Each day, find at least one reason to laugh. This could be as simple as watching a funny video, reading a joke, or even recalling a happy memory with friends. Keep a journal of your joyful moments and occasionally review it. This will not only help you maintain a positive spirit, but also help you see the positives in everyday life. Remember, life is not always serious. Allow yourself to laugh, relax, and enjoy the light and joyful moments. Laughing more not only makes you feel better, but also spreads joy and positivity to those around you. Thus, we have explored the 9th lesson from Stoic philosophy, laugh more. This is a simple yet highly effective lesson that helps us maintain optimism and joy in life. Remember, laughter is not just an expression of joy, but also a powerful tool to help us overcome difficulties and live a fuller life. Stay tuned for the next lesson. Focus on the inside. This lesson will help us better understand the importance of finding happiness within ourselves, rather than relying on external factors. Lesson 10. Focus on the inside. After learning how to maintain joy by laughing more, we continue with the 10th lesson. Focus on the inside. This is a crucial principle from Stoic philosophy, reminding us that true happiness does not come from external things, but from our own soul and mindset. Stoic philosophy encourages us to look within ourselves to find peace and happiness. Stoicism teaches that external factors such as money, fame, or status cannot provide lasting happiness. We cannot control what happens around us, but we can control how we react to those things. Focusing on the inside means prioritizing the development of our inner selves, cultivating our thoughts, and maintaining inner peace. When we master our thoughts and emotions, we are no longer swayed by external factors. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and a great Stoic philosopher, spent much of his life practicing focusing on the inside. Despite facing numerous challenges as a leader, from wars, political intrigue, to plagues, he constantly reminded himself, "We cannot control what happens, but we can control our thought." In his book Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Your happiness depends on the quality of your thoughts. Therefore, guard them accordingly, and take care not to be carried away by external factors." This message encourages us not to seek happiness from external factors, but to look inward, finding peace within ourselves. So how can we apply this lesson to our daily lives? First, take time to reflect and ask yourself deep questions. What truly makes you happy? Is it the approval of others, or is it the peace from within? Focus on developing virtues such as patience, compassion, and self-awareness. These virtues will help you build a strong and peaceful inner self. Another way to focus on the inside is to practice daily meditation. Meditation not only helps you relax, but also helps you connect more deeply with yourself. Spend at least 10 minutes each day sitting quietly, focusing on your breath and listening to your thoughts without judgment. You will realize that often your worries and stresses do not come from what is happening outside, but from how you perceive them. Focusing on the inside brings many benefits. Firstly, it helps us reduce stress and anxiety. When we no longer rely on external factors for happiness, we become more peaceful and less affected by the fluctuations of life. Secondly, focusing on the inside helps us build a strong and resilient inner self. When we understand and master ourselves, we become more confident and less shaken by external challenges. Finally, focusing on the inside helps us live a more meaningful life. When we are not caught up in external events, we have time to think about what truly matters, allowing us to make better decisions and live a fuller life. To practice this lesson, try a small exercise. Each day, spend at least 5 to 10 minutes sitting quietly and reflecting on the things you are grateful for in life. These could be small things like a morning cup of coffee, a smile from a loved one, or even a moment of peace amidst a busy day. Focus on the positives and feel the inner peace. You will realize that true happiness does not come from outside, from within your own heart. Another way to focus on the inside is to practice journaling. Write down your thoughts, feelings, and what you learn each day. This not only helps you understand yourself better, but also helps you realize that often what you think is a problem is not that important. In conclusion, we have explored the 10th lesson from Stoic philosophy: focus on the inside. This is an important lesson that helps us find peace and true happiness within ourselves. Remember, things that truly matter in life are not what we have on the outside, but what we nurture on the inside. Stay tuned for the next lesson. Live simply. This lesson will help us understand the value of simplicity and how it helps us live a peaceful and meaningful life. Lesson 11. Live simply. As we continue our series of lessons from Stoic philosophy, let's explore the 11th lesson. Live simply. In a world full of complexity and busyness, living simply is not just a choice, but an art that helps us find true peace and meaning in life. Simplicity is a core principle in Stoic philosophy. For Stoic philosophers, living simply does not mean giving up everything, but rather focusing on what truly matters and letting go of what is unnecessary. This philosophy encourages us to live with less, to focus on spiritual values instead of material ones. Stoicism reminds us that what we really need for happiness isn't material wealth, peace of mind, love, and understanding. By living simply, we create space for clarity, gratitude, and joy from the simple things in life. Diogenes, an ancient Greek philosopher and a precursor to Stoicism, is a quintessential example of living simply. He chose to live in an empty barrel rather than a house, and only owned the most basic items. Once, upon seeing a child drink water from their cupped hands, Diogenes discarded his only cup, realizing he didn't need it. This story clearly illustrates the philosophy of living simply. Keep only what is truly necessary and eliminate what does not bring real value. By living simply, Diogenes found freedom from material attachments and led a more fulfilling life. How can we apply this lesson to our daily lives? Start by reducing unnecessary things in your life. Think about the items you own: clothes, gadgets, and even relationships. Do you really need all of them? Or are there things you're holding on to just out of habit or societal pressure? Focus on quality rather than quantity. Instead of accumulating many possessions, invest in high-quality, durable items. Rather than pursuing relationships that don't bring joy, focus on those that truly matter to you. When you simplify your life, you will realize you have more time and energy to enjoy what truly matters. Living simply has many great benefits. First, it helps reduce stress and anxiety. When we no longer worry about owning or maintaining too much, our minds become lighter and more at ease. Second, simplicity helps us focus on what truly matters, leading to a more meaningful life. Finally, living simply makes us more flexible and ready to face changes in life. When we're not bound by material possessions, we can easily adapt and face new challenges. To practice living simply, try a small exercise. Each week, choose an area in your home, perhaps a closet, a desk, or a bookshelf, and remove unnecessary items. Think about each item and ask yourself, does this truly add value to my life? The answer is no. Be brave and let it go. Apply this principle not just to physical objects, but also to relationships and daily habits. Take time to reflect and eliminate unhealthy relationships or habits that don't bring value. This way, you will create a simpler yet more meaningful and joyful living space. So, we've explored the 11th lesson from Stoic philosophy. Live simply. This is not just a way of living, but also a mindset that helps us eliminate what is unnecessary and focus on what truly matters. Remember, happiness doesn't come from having more, but from needing less. Stay tuned for the next lesson, humility. This lesson will help us better understand the importance of humility and how it helps us live a meaningful and serene life. Lesson 12. Humility. After exploring the value of simplicity in life, we continue with the 12th lesson from Stoic philosophy. Humility. This is one of the key virtues that helps us live a meaningful and peaceful life. Humility is not just about knowing who we are, but also about treating others with respect and sincerity. In Stoic philosophy, humility is not simply about lowering oneself or being modest. It is a clear understanding of our own limitations and a continuous effort to improve ourselves. It requires us to listen, understand, and never stop learning. Humility means recognizing that we don't know everything and that there is always something new learned from others. Stoic philosophers emphasize that pride and complacency are the biggest obstacles to personal growth. They believe humility is the foundation for continuous learning and spiritual growth. When we are humble, we are not only open to new ideas, but also avoid unnecessary conflicts and disputes with others. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor and Stoic philosopher, despite holding the supreme power of Rome, always kept a humble heart. In his book Meditations, he wrote, "Remember that we are all just ordinary people. And whether you are an emperor or a citizen, we all have something to learn from each other." Marcus was always open to hearing opinions from everyone around him, from advisors, ordinary citizens, to political enemies. One famous story tells that when an advisor gave advice contrary to Marcus's opinion, instead of getting angry, he said, "Thank you for helping me see another perspective." This clearly demonstrates the humility of a leader who never let power cloud his judgment or his ability to learn from others. In daily life, humility can be demonstrated in how we communicate and treat others. Think about the times you've argued with someone. Have you ever been too proud to admit that you might be wrong? Or have you ever refused to listen to others because you thought you knew better? When we practice humility, we open ourselves to learning and self-improvement. Remember, everyone we meet has something to teach us. Instead of seeing ourselves as the center of everything, learn to listen and respect others' opinions. This not only helps us become better, but also builds deeper, more genuine relationships. Humility brings many benefits in life. First, it helps us broaden our perspectives and learn more. When we listen and accept that we don't know everything, We learn from those around us and from new experiences. Second, humility helps us build better relationships with others. When people feel respected and heard, they will trust and open up more to us. Lastly, humility helps us maintain peace of mind. When we are not obsessed with proving ourselves or competing with others, we live a more serene and happy life. We learn to accept ourselves with all our strengths and weaknesses, and from there, live a sincere and meaningful life. To practice humility, try a small exercise. Every day, take at least a moment to listen to someone without judgment. This could be listening to a friend's story, reading an article from a different perspective, or even asking yourself, what can I learn from this person? Additionally, practice accepting mistakes and learning from them. Instead of feeling ashamed or defensive, recognize that every mistake is an opportunity to become better. Accepting mistakes and learning from them not only helps us improve ourselves, but also shows humility and a willingness to grow. So, we have explored the 12th lesson from Stoic philosophy, humility. This is a crucial virtue that helps us maintain continuous learning and build good relationships. Remember, humility is not about lowering oneself. It is about knowing who we are and always being ready to learn to become better. Stay tuned for the next lesson, silence. This lesson will help us understand more about the power of silence and how it helps us live a peaceful and profound life. Lesson 13, embrace silence. After exploring humility, we continue with the 13th lesson, embrace silence. In Stoic philosophy, silence is not just the absence of speech, but a state of inner calm. It is a powerful tool that helps us maintain peace, focus, and clarity in all life situations. In Stoicism, silence means keeping your mind free from unnecessary disturbances. It's not absolute silence, but a choice to speak and act wisely. Silence helps avoid unnecessary conflicts, reduces stress, and keeps the mind clear. Stoics advise being silent when there is nothing good or useful to say. By controlling speech, we can control many other aspects of life, from relationships to careers. Silence also allows us to listen more, learn from others, and reflect deeply on ourselves. Socrates, a great philosopher, famously used silence as a teaching tool. When asked a question, he often didn't respond immediately, choosing instead to think silently, allowing the questioner to reflect and find the answer within. He believed that sometimes silence provides deeper answers than any spoken words. Once, when heavily criticized by those who misunderstood his philosophy, Socrates remained silent and smiled. When asked why he didn't react, he simply said, "Silence is the best answer, a meaningless word." This demonstrates the power of silence, not just in avoiding conflict, but in showing self-control and wisdom. Silence can be applied in many aspects of daily life. When feeling angry or frustrated, instead of saying unnecessary words, try keeping silent and reflecting on the situation. You'll find that silence often helps avoid conflicts and reduces stress. Silence also helps us listen to others more sincerely. When we are silent and attentive, we not only understand others better, but also create a space where others feel respected and open to sharing. This is especially important in family, friendship, and work relationship. Silence brings several important benefits. First, it helps us maintain peace and control emotions. When we are silent, we have time to think and control our reactions, instead of responding impulsively. Second, silence improves listening skill. When we are silent, we don't just hear what others say, but also better understand their feelings and thought. Finally, silence helps us develop clarity and self-discipline. When we are silent, we create space to reflect and make better decisions. Silence helps us find balance and calm in challenging situations. To practice silence, try a simple exercise. Each day, spend at least 5 to 10 minutes sitting quietly, doing nothing but listening to your breath and feeling your heartbeat. You can do this exercise early in the morning or before bedtime. This not only helps you relax, but also helps you connect more deeply with yourself. Another way to practice silence is during conversation. Try listening without interrupting or reacting immediately. Instead of speaking, listen with attention and empathy. This will help you better understand others and create a space for genuine and respectful communication. Thus, we have explored the 13th lesson from Stoic philosophy. Embrace silence. This is not just silence in speech, but a state of inner calm. Remember, sometimes silence is the best answer and the best way to maintain peace and clarity. Continue watching the video to explore the final lesson in this series. Amor Fati, love your fate. This lesson will help us understand how to accept and love life with all that it brings. Lesson 14. Amor Fati, love your fate. On our journey exploring Stoic philosophy, we've learned how to face life's challenges and changes. Now, let's delve into the 14th lesson. Amor Fati, love your fate. This is a crucial concept that encourages us not only to accept but to embrace everything life brings, whether good or bad. Amor Fati, meaning love of fate, is a core idea in Stoic philosophy. It means not merely accepting what happens to us but cherishing and valuing it as an essential part of life. According to Stoicism, every event, whether good or bad, has its reason and value. Loving your fate means embracing everything that happens to you, recognizing that every occurrence is a part of your journey. Instead of resisting difficulties or complaining about undesired outcomes, this philosophy encourages us to view every experience as an opportunity to learn and grow. Amor Fati does not mean being passive or giving up on efforts to change. Rather, it means approaching everything with a positive mindset and being ready to learn from whatever happened. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, practiced Amor Fati throughout his life. He faced numerous significant challenges, wars, plagues, and betrayal within the court. Instead of becoming disheartened or bitter, Marcus chose to accept everything that came his way with gratitude and love. He once wrote, "Accept everything that happens to you, not as a burden, but as a gift, even if it comes in the form of a disaster." For Marcus, every challenge was an opportunity to strengthen his soul and spirit. He not only accepted his fate, but loved it, knowing that everything that happened was part of his journey towards personal growth and development. How can we apply Amor Fati in our daily lives? When facing difficulties or failures, instead of becoming angry or disappointed, try to view them as an inevitable part of life and learn to love them. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How can I grow from here? Amor Fati also helps us face losses and pain more calmly. Instead of being overwhelmed by sadness, recognize that every event has its value, no matter how painful it might be. We cannot control everything that happens, but we can control how we respond. And by choosing to love our fate, we choose the path of growth and wisdom. Practicing Amor Fati brings profound benefits. Firstly, it helps us reduce stress and anxiety. When we no longer resist what cannot be changed, our souls become more peaceful and free. Secondly, Amor Fati helps us develop gratitude and optimism. When we love everything that happens to us, we view every event with a more positive spirit, recognizing that every experience is an opportunity to learn and grow. Finally, Amor Fati helps us build patience and resilience. When we accept and love our fate, we become stronger in the face of challenges and ready to face anything. Courage and determination. To practice Amor Fati, try a small exercise. Every day, spend at least 5 minutes reflecting on the events of the day, both good and bad. Write down what you are grateful for and the lessons you can learn from difficult situations. Challenge yourself to view everything with a positive spirit and find reasons to love each event. By practicing Amor Fati, you will realize that not everything happens as we expect. Everything has its value. Love your fate, and you will find true peace and happiness in life. Thus, we have explored the 14th lesson from Stoic philosophy, Amor Fati, love your fate. This is a profound lesson that helps us learn to accept and cherish everything life brings, thereby living a more peaceful and meaningful life. Continue watching the video to discover the final lesson. Memento Mori, remember you will die. This lesson will help us understand the meaning of life and how to live a life to the full. Lesson 15. Memento Mori, remember you will die. As we conclude our exploration of Stoic philosophy, we come to the 15th and final lesson. Memento Mori, remember you will die. This powerful concept reminds us of our mortality and encourages us to live our lives fully, appreciating each moment as if it could be our last. Memento Mori, Latin for remember you will die, is a fundamental Stoic teaching. It serves as a reminder of the inevitable end that awaits all of us, encouraging a mindset that embraces life fully and with intention. The Stoics believe that by contemplating our mortality, we could live more meaningfully and prioritize what truly matters. Reflecting on death is not meant to instill fear, but rather to awaken a deeper appreciation for life. When we remember that our time is limited, we are less likely to waste it on trivial pursuits or negative emotions. Instead, we are motivated to live with purpose, make the most of each day, and cherish our relationships and experience. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, often reflected on the concept of memento mori in his writing. Despite being one of the wealthiest men in Rome, he lived with the constant awareness of his mortality. He wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day." Seneca believed that remembering death was the key to living a virtuous and fulfilling life. By keeping the reality of death in mind, he was able to focus on what truly mattered: virtue, wisdom, and inner peace, rather than being consumed by the distractions of wealth, power, pleasure. How can we apply memento mori in our daily lives? Begin by embracing the present moment fully. Realize that each day, each hour, each moment is a gift that should not be taken for granted. When faced with difficult decisions or conflicts, ask yourself, if today were my last day, would this matter? How would I want to spend my time? Practicing memento mori can also help us overcome fear. When we accept that death is a natural part of life, we become less afraid of it and more willing to take risks, pursue our dreams, and live authentically. It encourages us to forgive more easily, love more deeply, and live more courageously, knowing that our time is precious and finite. Practicing memento mori brings numerous benefits. Firstly, it cultivates a sense of urgency and purpose. By remembering that our time is limited, we are more likely to focus on what truly matters and avoid wasting time on things that do not bring value or happiness. Secondly, it fosters gratitude. When we are aware of our mortality, we begin to appreciate the simple pleasures of life and cherish our loved ones more deeply. Finally, memento mori helps us live without regret. By keeping death in mind, we are encouraged to make the most of every moment, live authentically, and pursue a life aligned with our values. We learn to let go of petty grievances, embrace forgiveness, and approach each day with a spirit of generosity and kindness. To practice memento mori, try a simple exercise. Each morning, take a few moments to reflect on the fact that life is fragile and unpredictable. Ask yourself, if today were my last day, what would I want to accomplish? How would I want to treat others? Use this reflection to guide your actions and decisions throughout the day. Another practice is to keep a journal where you record your reflections on mortality and how it influences your choices and priorities. This daily reminder will help you live more mindfully and purposefully, ensuring that you make the most of the time you have. In this way, we have explored the final lesson from Stoic philosophy. Memento Mori, remember you will die. This profound lesson teaches us to embrace our mortality and live each day with a sense of purpose and gratitude. Remember, life is precious and fleeting. Make every moment count. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the wisdom of Stoic philosophy. May these lessons guide you towards a more meaningful, peaceful, and fulfilling life. Conclusion. We have journeyed through 15 profound lessons from Stoic philosophy. From focusing on what we can control, accepting imperfection, living mindfully, to embracing fate and remembering that we will die. Each lesson is not just a principle to live by, but also a practical guide to facing life's challenges with composure and wisdom. Stoic philosophy, though it originated thousands of years ago, remains highly practical and applicable in modern life. Why? Because Stoic principles are not bound by time or place, they focus on core human values: self-control, accepting imperfection, living with awareness, and recognizing the finiteness of life. In today's ever-changing world, where we constantly face work pressures, complex relationships, and societal changes, the lessons from Stoic philosophy provide us with a powerful guide to living a balanced and meaningful life. The art of indifference is not about being apathetic or unfeeling towards the world, but rather a wise approach to selectively focusing on what truly matters. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control everything that happens, we can control our responses. This art helps us let go of unnecessary worries, avoid meaningless conflicts, and focus on self-improvement daily. Learning to be indifferent to what we cannot change or control reduces stress and anxiety. Instead, we gain more time and energy to invest in what brings joy, peace, and meaning to our lives. Think about how you can integrate these Stoic lessons into your daily life. Start by focusing on what you can control. Don't let yourself be swept away by events or situations beyond your control. Instead, concentrate on improving your thoughts, attitudes, and action. Accepting that life is imperfect is a significant step forward. No person or thing in this world is perfect, and that's perfectly okay. Imperfection is what makes life unique and meaningful. Accept and love the flaws in yourself and others. Remember, everyone is fighting their own battle. Mindful living helps us focus on the present moment, free from distractions of the past or future. This not only reduces anxiety and stress, but also helps us enjoy and appreciate every moment of life. Seeing things from different perspectives is an important lesson that helps us become more tolerant and empathetic. Everyone has different viewpoints and experiences, and trying to understand others will help us build better relationships. Forgiving others is also part of this. When we forgive, we free ourselves from resentment and pain, creating space for kindness and peace flourish. Simplicity and focusing inward are lessons that help us regain balance and tranquility in life. In a world full of pressure and material temptations, living simply helps reduce stress and find inner peace. Focusing inward, caring for mental health, and nurturing spiritual values will help us live a more meaningful life. The last two lessons, Amor, Fati, and Memento Mori, help us accept life in its entirety and with a full heart. Loving one's fate means accepting all that life brings with gratitude and love, not just the good, also the challenges and adversity. This makes us stronger and more resilient against life's storms. Remembering that you will die is not to instill fear, but to inspire a more conscious life. Memento Mori helps us realize that life is finite, and thus, we should make the most of every moment. Live with gratitude, courage, and sincerity. Do meaningful things, love those around you, and don't let anything hinder you from living a full life. We have explored 15 lessons from Stoic philosophy together. These lessons are not just theoretical guidelines, but practical tools to help us live a more meaningful, peaceful, and happy life. Stoicism is not a philosophy of renunciation or austerity, but a philosophy of acceptance, love, and wisdom. Apply these lessons to your daily life. Live with courage and determination. Know when to let go and when to hold on. Know when to be silent and when to speak. Live a life you can be proud of, not for what you have, who you have become. Thank you for joining us in exploring the profound values of Stoic philosophy. Continue your journey towards peace and wisdom with us, and remember that you always have the power to choose. May you always find strength and serenity on your path.
Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more videos.